get people, oh my God, that video made me want to leave my partner. It made me want to move. It made me want to do this. It made me want to do that. And just realize that my words have an impact. My presence has an impact.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing my interview with Maya Gobara, a high priestess, life coach, tarot and divination expert, and spiritual advisor. We'll be speaking about her work, specifically her use of the video media, and her visions of a brighter future for individuals and the collective. If this sounds fascinating to you, stay tuned and remember to like this video, subscribe, and press the notification bell icon for future content. Thank you, and let's get started.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to be here. I'm really excited. So of course, Maya Gobara. When it comes to my work, I do a lot of spiritual teaching, so a lot of online video components there. And I do readings, I do virtual sessions, and so much of what I do does encompass video. Even now, I've shifted my phone readings to a lot of video readings now. And so you name it, I do it, and chances are now it's on video. So yeah. A long story short, I was doing a lot of ghostwriting. So I'm kind of starting there. So I was doing a lot of ghostwriting, which led me to doing a lot of writing myself, which then led me to wanting to help other people to write and self-publish their own books. And a lot of people who wanted to self-publish their own books, they were still dealing with a lot of trauma, and I found myself really unable to help them write because they still hadn't processed certain things. And so I will often have to recommend therapy or recommend a coach, or refer them out, and then say, after you've dealt with these things and processed these things, then you can come back, because psychologically and just professionally, I can't in good faith continue and allow you to tell your story if it's still affecting you in this way. And so that led me to becoming a life coach. And so so that made me want to become a life coach. So I became a life coach, and so many other parts of my life behind the scenes were shifting and moving in terms of my spirituality. And it feels like spiritual coaching just kind of it just slowly started to morph into that. And as you know, I'm in school for my PhD in theology, and so it's still an ever going journey. And so yeah, this is where I'm at now. So I've been doing this in this capacity, like this, even though it's still evolving, for about 3-4 years now. I felt like I really wanted to connect with people, and even though I love writing, I feel like there was still something that was like this missing component there, and people they kind of understood me, but they still didn't quite get it, and they couldn't quite get the exact tone that I was saying things in, my body language. I felt like that was really important for me to be able to get across my message, and I was just saying, I think they need to actually see me. So that forced me to get on video.
Okay. And you're a Leo, correct?
I am.
Okay, so was that, I'm guessing that was natural for you, but I may be wrong on that, because some Leos are also...
It wasn't natural for me. It was so nerve-wracking. I used to have to make myself do it because I didn't want to do it. I was so nervous. But as you can see, once it cuts on, I always do this like, oh, this is going to be a quick video. And then it's like 30 minutes later, I'm still talking. So it's natural once I turn on the camera, because once I'm there, it's like, well, okay. But I think it's the getting started. It's the cutting on the camera. It's the going live that is the most like, oh my God part. And I still have those moments. But once I'm on, I'm on. I had to stop over planning.
Okay. Over planning. Good to know.
Over planning is just not it for me. That's what I used to do. Now it's one step over planning, And two, really only getting on when I feel like I have something to say, not
Okay.
when I feel like I should be doing it. It's more when I feel this burning desire or I actually have something of value to share, and I'm learning to honor that for
Beautiful.
myself. And that's what works best for me now. So yeah. In terms of my messaging, I think one has helped me watch because I pretty much watch all of my videos back, probably because I am a Leo. Like, look at me. But I can see in areas where I may have slipped up, I may have tripped up, I didn't quite, like, I could see like the gaps. Sometimes even the gaps in my own knowledge was like, you might want to go back and look that up. Or
Mm.
it's which has also forced me to be more authentic because like I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know about, you know? And it's helped me to also admit that I don't know everything. Sometimes people come on there and they'll ask a question and it'll stump you. And I used to find myself trying to fill in the gaps, trying to talk around the thing. But now I'm like, you know what? I don't know. But that's interesting. And you know who I think does know about that? You should check out this person. Or that's really interesting. I want to look deeper into that and I'll get back to you.
Right.
It's helped me become more authentic. I think there's less hiding that you can do on video.
Yes, definitely.
People see you, and it's especially live video because you can't edit that, you know? So yeah, it's so in terms of how it's helped my perception of myself, it's helped me be a more authentic person. It's also helped me not necessarily carefully choose my words because I just kind of say what I want to say, but it's helped me stand behind what it is that I
Oh,
have to say.
okay. And knowing that the words that come out of your mouth are coming from a grounded place of truth.
A grounded place of truth. Exactly that. Because sometimes my words aren't necessarily touchy feely, rainbows, light. Sometimes I come and I give a message that might not be so nice, not so fluffy. And it's taught me to stand in that.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is I know it as I see it. And getting comfortable
Mm-hmm.
also, I've had to do follow ups to some of my videos. Hey, I learned something else. Or
Mm-hmm.
when I was in that space, because one of my biggest videos is actually a rant that I went on about twin flames like years ago, and people still come to YouTube to curse me out about that video about like once or twice a month. It was such an old video.
Yeah.
And I've had to go back and do a follow up, like, I know more about it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I think now. I feel like now my words have more weight, which is like yay, but at the same time, that also leads me to only say things when I feel led to share them and to not just talk for the sake of talking.
Okay.
Um, and to remember that, like when it comes to my videos, to remember that people are taking what it is that I say and they are applying it to their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get people, oh my God, that video made me want to leave my partner. It made me want to move. It made me want to do this. It made me want to do that. And just realize that my words have an impact. My presence has an impact. And
Right.
so I would say that the impact has grown.
Wow.
Um, in terms of the world in general, I used to love watching videos. But now, because the market is so saturated and I'm tired of like, hey, here are 3 ways to do this. Here are 4 ways to do that. Like so similar to the way like people are using blog posts now. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's so much SEO and strategy in video that it's lost its authenticity,
Oh, interesting.
that it makes people tune out.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
That's
And
fascinating.
so now, like, for example, I I'm going to use a blog post as an example, but the same is true in my videos. I write some long blog posts. Okay. And I have friends who are like, why are you doing that? No one's going to read that. No one's going to read that. And so I, for a while, was posting like 500-word blog posts because that's what people say to do. And nothing. Like, it really got me nowhere. And then, boom, I posted like a 1,600 word, 1,800 word blog post, emails, people signing up for things,
Wow.
people, and it got the exact results that people were saying that it wouldn't get.
Mm.
But people looked at the authentic factor. And so it's the same way with my videos now.
Ah.
I don't come on with a piece of paper anymore. I might have like major points that I want to hit so that I can remember, but it's not completely scripted anymore the way that it used to be. And so because of that, I think that the impact is greater because this is still spirituality. And so I have to give room for spirit to move and not allowing things to be so rigid all the time.
Right.
I feel like it doesn't really have a place in what I do.
Okay.
One, I absolutely love the teaching, right? So teaching is the most gratifying for me. In my private groups, I absolutely love it. But I think the one thing that can't be replaced is when I feel like a message and I feel the need to share a message. And I go on live and it's really impromptu and no one quite saw it coming, not even me. It's kind of been this message that may have been stirring for like a week or two. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I come on at some ridiculous time. Like last time, I think it was like 10 o'clock on like a Saturday, which no one technically should have been on, but it was so many people on.
Wow.
And just saying what it was that I had to say and getting so many inboxes and it being shared and people just wanting to talk about it. I think doing those kind of like impromptu, authentic videos in which I get the chance to really connect to people and to meet them where they are and for them to say like, oh my god, I need this message right now, like
Wow.
wow. I think those are like really what like makes my heart just really happy.
That's
So yeah,
amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
the 5 second rule here I think really can come into play. I cannot remember the woman who came up with this rule, but in terms of press and record, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, do it.
Mm.
Just press record. Just do it. Because once it's on, you're there. Trust me, you're going to rise to the occasion. Like, trust in your ability to rise to the occasion and to make it happen. And then if you don't, you can always end it. And then you can always delete that video. Okay? Like, really quick. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. um, don't be afraid to play around with your content. Um, so maybe for you, things do need to be a bit more structured. So I say test out different things. Test out completely writing out things and reading them off. And don't be afraid to let people know because they appreciate it. Hey, I have notes. So I might be reading from these notes. You don't have to even make it look like, oh, I'm not reading from a piece of paper. It's okay to go, hey, I got these notes. I prepared. Okay, so not point number 3, and then just say it. I think it takes the pressure off for you to say, "Oh my God, I'm just doing this off the top of my head." No, you're not, and I think that makes you more human as well. Um, Test out just telling your stories. No matter how silly they may be, people like to be entertained. Um, be vulnerable. You know, I tend to tell stories after I've healed from them. Um,
I like that a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it's after I've healed, and I kind of like my wounds are fresh. I don't really share why they're fresh. It's like a personal thing of mine because I want to come from a place of healing and uplifting. And so it's like, okay, this is what I dealt with, and this is how I got through it. Now I'm ready to share.
Be that guiding light for people instead of being a flashlight still fumbling in the dark.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, you guys, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, you're like freaking out, remembering that you are coming still from like this place of authority, and so you want to make sure that you are being responsible and not pulling anyone else down. I try to like really take responsibility for my own energy as a healer. So yeah, play around with different kinds of content. If you see someone else's video and you like the way that they did it, test it out with your own spin on it. And there's nothing new under the sun. So it's not that you're copying, we all use each other as inspiration. So find inspiration in places. Sometimes I pre-record videos and I play around on my phone with the editing and I'll chop it up. I pre-recorded funny videos around meditation, and I've done voiceovers for the videos and all of that stuff. Just don't be afraid to play. And before you know it, you'll kind of hit your sweet spot and you'll just do those things over and over and over again. We always talk about healing the whole person, and I feel like this gives people the opportunity, the access to being able to heal their entire selves. Too often I feel like people are either on one side or the other. Or I go to a therapist, I don't need that. Or I have a life coach, or I have a spiritual coach, I don't need a therapist. I have a chiropractor, I don't need a Reiki practitioner, I don't need a masseuse, I don't need, and I feel like this will give people the opportunity to be able to heal themselves fully, to get the entire picture, because right now I just feel like things are so fractured and segmented, and we're taught that we have to choose one way or the other, when it's like, no, we need all of it.
Right. I have maybe this utopian feeling, right? Of the more people awaken in themselves, then the more that we can see that happen as societies, as larger consciousnesses, groupings of consciousness, right? Just like our cells compose our body as an entirety, I do also see how humans compose the entirety of, social beings. Like America as a being, a spiritual being, the West is a spiritual being, the East, and these divisions that we kind of subscribe to and we give power to and we give our identity to, as also beings that are shifting through this time, right? And yeah, I guess I'm just kind of more sharing my vision on that and that hope that this work is making ripples and creating greater shifts. How do you see yourself in that and your work in that picture?
I think that's a really good question. I see myself, I believe in this oneness, and so I see myself as a part of the whole. And so by me healing myself, I'm helping to do my part in healing the whole. And each and every person that I encounter, it's more of us, it's more of us, it's more of us. We're growing, we're awakening. And so whereas some people are just, they want to be pessimistic about it. But for me, I'm very optimistic because I feel like there's so many of us awakening and shifting. And when we're talking about like psychological theory and all that stuff, things tend to look like they're worse before they get better.
Okay.
Because this cognitive dissonance, this two ideals like really clashing, because really only one sometimes can stand, like one is going to overtake the other. And so there's this fighting, we've all felt it within ourselves when two opposing ideas are trying to occupy the same space. And I feel like we're at that point, and love is always going to win. And so I definitely feel like the world is awakening, and it's each one of us heals ourselves and heals the people around us, we're just going to have this. We're healing the world, we're healing the universe, we're healing the whole, which we all are a part of. At this point in my life, I just want to tell people to, one, follow your bliss, and don't be afraid to do it out loud, even if it's on video, and to shift and to change and to play, not just with video, but in life, and to follow those desires, and not just the desires like, oh, I want to go on vacation, or I want to, like, all those things are great. I'm talking about the desires like, oh my God, I want to research this.
Mm.
I want to go to school for that. I want to help people in this area. Is that silly? No, it's not silly. Dive deeper into that. That's your purpose calling you. And
Yes.
so do it, you
Beautiful.
know? So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That wraps up our chat. I really appreciate you joining me and spending this time. Um, and thank you. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope that video was as enlightening for you as it was for me. As a new video content creator, this interview was deeply helpful and resonant in reminding me to stand in my truth, my presence, and continue to share these messages that come through from the divine through my body and through my mind. So I want to thank Maya for her time, and I want to thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. If you'd like to connect with Maya, please feel free to check out her website at mayathemystic.com. I will link those below along with her social media handles. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Mabuhay!